Welcome back to All the Above with me, Emma Keogh. This week I have an amazing special guest on. Not only is she a career coach, but a workplace and wellbeing consultant, she is also my friend, Angela Burke.
Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you
Well,
so much,
I feel like
Emma.
we're going to unpack loads today because myself and yourself met last year at an event and we just immediately hit it off, didn't we?
We did. It's nearly our year
Friendversary. And do you know what I love? I think it's because when you get a little bit older, we know like it does get harder, doesn't it, to be friends with people.
Friends you click with. Because I always
Yeah.
say in Dublin in particular, there's so many opportunities to meet people, but it's rare at this age that you meet someone that you're like,
Are you 38?
38 next month. Sorry, this month. In 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're Aries.
I'm Aries.
Yes.
But Cancer rising.
Yeah, we know. That's why we blend, because I'm Cancer. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. That's wild, because I remember we sat beside each other. We were at
But do you remember, we started talking in the corner, and next thing we realised we'd so much more to say, and then they were seating us, and we were seated right beside each other. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, and then straight away I was chatting to you and we were just like buzzing off each other. And then after that, I think you sent me a message or I sent you, I don't know, we were like, we need to get each other's numbers, like lesbians.
We met really
We
quickly
did.
after.
Yeah,
Just
we
hit
did
it
like
off.
2 weeks after. It was like, oh, I'll have your number. And then we just, like the minute I met you, we went for a coffee and we went for a swim. And we were just like,
Swim, I forgot about the swim.
yeah, I have the little photo I showed you last week when we were in Portmarnock. And we just literally were verbal diarrhea. It wasn't just like,
Yeah.
so, what do you do? And,
It was just real. It was just real straight away. There was no how's the weather. But I think we realised we were kind of in the same energy, Emma. Like we were in similar life chapters. Now you have since entered a new life chapter.
Yeah.
But it was just very aligned.
Yeah, but the synchronicities was very similar. Even like we'll get into like, your own story as well. But why you're here on the pod today is Angela is a career coach. And would you believe I actually was asking her for my own, last week. And I think this is the importance because even though I am like a mindset and empowerment coach as well, we're both coaches. There's a lot of similarities there as well, especially translating over from career into our own life at the moment. And when I was kind of doing a deep dive on career,
You meant a deep dive into me. I was like,
no,
what did you find?
I'm not like that. Would you stop? So about career, I love an L statistic, right? So looking at career, because I've been through some career changes in my own life as well. And even from, I used to be a buyer in the retail world. I used to work with a fashion designer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I used to work with Adrian Bodkin. And then I worked as a business development manager for a large like corporation, UK and India corporation. And then I decided to go out on my own. So I've kind of had many lives. But it really does build you to who you are. And like statistically I have here, so, right. 63% of Irish workers feel disengaged.
63%.
63%. Do you?
I do believe that, yeah.
Tell me why.
Because when you think about it, like, first of all, if you think of your own life and think of the conversations you have with friends, you know how they're truly feeling about their work, right? But then if you bring that to that 63% stat, why do people not do anything about it? It's because they're afraid. So of course there's 63% of people disengaged because they're fearful to change that. They feel disengaged, but they're fearful to step into the unknown in order to become engaged somewhere else.
Yeah.
We're just, as humans, we want to stay safe, and we will, I say this all the time, we will choose the discomfort of staying stuck, staying disengaged and allowing our soul to die, rather than choosing the discomfort of leaning into the unknown, because we don't know where that takes us. Whereas the devil, that whole saying, my dad always says it, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, no, big time. And then it's saying like 2/3 are sticking and staying. So that means like they're sticking to their job and staying. But then a half of this is constantly thinking about moving roles.
Yeah.
Going somewhere
Isn't that
different.
interesting? So they're disengaged, they're
Yeah.
sticking and staying, they're thinking of moving, but they're sticking and staying.
Yeah, it's the thought.
So it's that
it's a
round
loop.
and circle, the loop. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I done another one there. So 3 out of 10 feel burnout very often and always.
I would have thought that would have been higher.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I definitely thought so too. Because I done these based on Ireland, not Europe. But
This is Ireland.
This is Ireland only, not Europe or like globally based. But I do think that could probably increase a little bit more because there's a lot of people now going back to the workplace now compared to working from home.
Yeah.
So what are you kind of noticing in pattern wise?
It's so like, that's exactly what I see.
Do you?
Yeah. Like whether I look at clients, whether I look at, friends, like the conversations I'm having all the time. What I will say is our younger generation, so Gen Zs, they're less likely. What I'm seeing with them is they're braver than we are.
Oh,
like,
do you ever see the emails on TikTok being like, see ya, I'm off for 2 weeks. I'm like, to whom it may concern, please note I am on annual leave.
I know,
love and grace.
Checking the grammar. But no, they're so much more brave and they're less willing to settle for a job that doesn't align with their life.
Yeah.
Because their life is number one. Whereas I feel like in our generation, like we're similar age, right? So like I came out of college, height of the recession. There were no jobs. I remember going to a career fair in final year of my degree and kind of walking around, and everyone laughing at me, but like walking around and offering to come up from Galway up to Dublin on my own. I don't know, of course I had been to Dublin for matches, for GAA matches, but wasn't that like walking around being like, I will come up and work for free just to get experience. Like that's how bad it was. Whereas I think this generation, they haven't exactly experienced that yet. To the extent that we did. Obviously the market is changing now for sure, but they're just braver. They're like, we kind of, I think, still have that very much like a focus on work, whereas they're like, no, my life is important. My life is the top, and work can kind of work around that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because then the last one here, it says 45% are thriving, but the others are just surviving. And you think about it,
isn't it?
It is. But I think that, like, going back to what you said and what I can see as well in our generation, and then from our mother and father's generation and so on, our grandparents, you can see how it's diluting through the ages.
Diluting, yeah.
It is kind of diluting through the ages of like, hang on, our life is more important.
Yeah.
And what common patterns are you seeing now, and what do you help people with?
I think that, but I think there is an awakening. Like I notice a big difference now versus before the pandemic in the conversations I'm having with people. Like people are getting braver. They are focusing more on their life. But that fear, that, like, it's like I put up a poll in my stories last night and I said something to the effect of, actually someone had sent in a question saying that they know that they need a change. They have that realization. But beyond that, they're stuck. Like they're paralyzed with the fear. They don't know what to do. And I put up a poll basically saying like, who sees himself in this and then who sees himself in this and knows what to do, but is stuck by the fear. And so many people were in that bucket where like, it's tough, isn't it? It's like, even if you know, like so many people they know they want to change, but they don't know what that change is. But then even the ones that know what the change is, they're just stuck by fear and they're like just afraid to kind of go for it and make it happen. So I think, the biggest thing that I see is that fear that's having that, it's just limiting people. And also the limits, when I kind of dive into that and try and unravel, like, why are you choosing? Because it is like, if someone asks you, it's actually quite confronting when someone says, why are you choosing to stay in a job that's not making you happy? Why are you choosing to stay in a job that is limiting your life? Why are you choosing to stay in a job that's taken away from your life? Like when you get those direct questions, it's quite confronting.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But at the core of that is that fear piece, and that kind of, when you unravel that a bit more, you start to find out that it's actually the limits that they've placed on themselves, thinking I can't do X, Y, and Z because, or I'm not the type of person who would succeed in that, or, leaving my job and actually going after my dreams. That's for other people. That's not for me.
It's their limiting beliefs that they're having towards themselves. Yeah, 100%.
Whether they place them on themselves or whether they were placed on by the world, society, which is so sad.
No, I know. And the thing is, because even like, it says like, people not settling for careers and changing something, but they don't even take a chance on change.
Yeah.
Because I remember I did that even from my own personal experience when I was scared shitless. Like, I mean, terrified. So when I worked for Primark, absolutely loved it, but I just wanted to change. You know, I was scared shitless, but I just wanted to change. I knew in my gut, but it came a time where I was like, if I don't go now, I'm never gonna know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to. There's something inside me. So terrified, absolutely terrified, and even handing in the notice because I was there for so long. But even in that moment, even though you're scared, you don't know what's next, it is empowering to a point that you're like, I'm taking charge of my own life. But at the same time, I got a job as a business development manager. I knew what I was going to do, but I was like, I'm going to have to just wing this for a while and just, you know, obviously ask questions, you know, and I always say that as well. But then from that, I was in that job for 3 years, and I knew then towards the end, I was like, this is giving me, you know, a wage. I'm able to pay my rent. I'm able to pay my bills, but it wasn't fulfilling, but it was ticking along. And I started to think, what is there out there? But then it's weird. It's like the universe kind of came and gave a message at the time. It brought me down to part-time during COVID. And then after that, then I got made redundant. So it was like, obviously it came to that point because of like COVID, everything like that. But at the same time, it was that, right, I either go get another job or, you know, go all in on myself and see what that looks like. And that was like, I think it was nearly 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
That I'm self-employed. Now I tell you, it is like riding a tsunami half the time. But it is, I've learned over those few years of self-employment to learn to live in discomfort, to learn to feel uncomfortable. Like I'm kind of comfortable with feeling uncomfortable.
Do you feel that you've had enough evidence that a door always opens to feel you're living in the discomfort?
Yeah.
But do you also have that trust that the right doors will open at the right time? Like opportunities will always come in.
Yeah, because
even when you're feeling
100%. Because even on a personal note, so we were chatting, and last year I was like, I want to go back to work. Obviously, like money on paper. I want to get a mortgage. Like I'm like, what does that look like? You know, people think that, you know, I'm probably minted. No, I live at home with my dad. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm trying to save a few bob as well, and I got to a point I was like, right, I'm going to go back to work. But this is where I want your advice as well. So I was like, okay, came home from Ibiza. I was like, right, we're going to do up the CV. We're going to get on LinkedIn. You know, I kind of know what to do. Did all that, applied for like 9 or 10 jobs, all different, you know, like whether it was a little bit of, you know, was it a buyer? I applied for radio. I applied for, you know, coordinator. So like kind of a mixed bag of a few things.
Yeah. Putting yourself out there.
Yeah. So seeing what else could be next. That's how I got the business management role. I was like, what does that look like? My skills on paper, what could it be? The power of possibilities, I call it.
I like how open-minded you are on it as well.
Yeah.
Because people can get... And
no, I'm very open-minded with new roles. Definitely. Like, and I applied for 10 jobs. And this was around, I'd say, from the end of September to maybe end of November because it was Christmas break. And I didn't hear back from one.
Even a rejection email?
Not one rejection email, not one phone call, nothing. And I just think, what is your take on that? Like, I think that's wild.
Tough. Yeah, sorry, because when you said that to me, I thought you meant as in I didn't get called for an interview.
No, not one.
You didn't even get a rejection
not even.
email.
No, nothing.
Right. Okay. And were these big corporations, small?
Yeah, some of them were. Yeah, some of them were big. Like, do you know what I mean? And then others would have been probably like a little bit smaller, like individual. But at the same time, I just thought, I was like, is this the way the world is going
What a great
now?
experience. Yeah.
No, but like,
you'll remember those companies.
Oh yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. No, like that's it. Like, and I do think it's you know, I don't, what you say, the word of it all, etiquette.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, I do think we're kind of losing that etiquette, not only from a workforce, but just saying, listen, thank you so much for your application. You weren't considered this time or blah, blah, blah. It's just very disposable.
Even if it's an automated email. Like, I'm surprised by that in terms of...
No, not one.
Now, I understand on the employer side, they are getting inundated with applications because obviously with all the layoffs, so many people are looking for work.
Yeah.
But most organisations would even have like an automated response that comes from their ATS, which is an applicant tracking system.
Yeah.
So that is surprising. But what I want to say as well, because there's probably someone listening in that...
This is it. That's why I'm sharing my own personal
that
experience. There's going to be
sees
people out
themselves
there.
in it. So what I want to say is, I know it's so easy to say, but try not to be disheartened. Try not to take it personally. I think that whole piece around, rejection is redirection. Keep showing up, like what you're doing in terms of putting yourself out there. I will also say, and we spoke about this last week in terms of, and let me preface this by saying that is a sign of where we're at in the market at the moment. It is very tough out there because it's so tough, because there's so many applications coming in for, the one job, whatever it is. You have to be really, really strategic in your application strategy. So it's kind of like going on a date,
I'm just going to share
Nice
all her
segue.
tips and tricks.
But it's kind of like, you can't just, it's like the dating app. You can't just, well, you can if you want, but I don't think you'll get very far.
Angela loves a bit of Hinge.
I'm a Bumble girl myself.
Yeah,
but,
Bumble's way better.
You can't just send a copy and paste out. Like, I believe no matter what you do, you get what you put into it. So put your full self into it, or don't bother at all, right? So if you're going to send out, a message, copy and paste to, 5 people on Bumble, you're not going to get what you want back. You're not going to get a proper conversation. Whereas if you look through that person's profile and you're like, oh, actually, spot something on it and probe in on that, or comment, send a witty comment, or ask a question, whatever, you're going to get more. You're going to start off great conversation. Same when it comes to your CV. So you have to, I'm really getting into like career mode here. So you have to first of all really understand the job spec. Get really clear from looking at the job spec, what's really important to them. What are they looking for? And how can I showcase so quickly on my CV, because they will look at it for 6 seconds. I'm your person. This is exactly how I'm going to be quick to do your job. And there's a little section at the top of a CV. You can call it whatever you want, but it's usually, a personal objective or professional objective, professional summary, 5 sentences, and try and kind of answer what you're trying to do with that is say, dear hiring manager, this is how I am equipped to do your job. This is why I'm the right person. Because if they look at your CV and they just look at that, it should be enough for them to say, yeah, I'm going to call this person for an interview. And an awful lot of people, and I understand why, because when you're applying for, if you're applying for, a job a day, a job a week, like that's timely. But if you even take half an hour to do that tweak, it can make all of the difference. But I totally get the overwhelm involved in it.
Yeah, no, it is a lot. It's literally like, the dating world as well, but at the same time applying for jobs. And I get it at the same time, because rejection is redirection. And towards the end of last year, I was like, right, that's it now. This is when the podcast came back on, and I was like, I'm going to go all in on the podcast now.
And you are.
Yeah, I'm going all in, and I'm going all in on my own projects, like the Camino and doing these things. In the last 3 months, I've went all in, and I'm reaping the rewards from it as well. But at the same time, I would still, do 3 days a week. Like, you can do it all. Because I know you work full time. There's so many people who work full time, part time out there that are doing other things. Yeah. Do you know that way? And that's
what
okay.
I want to say as well, just what you've said there about like going all in on your own personal projects. That's another common theme I'm seeing lately, actually, is that, and I love it, is that particularly with the generation behind us, they're kind of just making their own way. So do you know the way in the past, if you were lacking experience in something, it might stop you from applying for a job or from moving into that career. More and more, the conversations I'm having with people are, okay, yes, you don't have experience, right now to move into that. What can you do yourself to gain that experience? Can you set up, a side hustle? Can you start volunteering? We have never lived in a world where you can literally gain the experience yourself by doing your own thing. So I want to say that as well. That's really important, because it's removing the limits that were previously placed on us as a society to actually break down those barriers of entry to the different kind of career industries. So keep that in mind if you're listening in. If there's a job that you would love, if there's an industry you want to break into, or, just a new type of work you want to do, and you're not getting... like Emma said there, you're not getting the job, you're obviously falling down with the experience or whatever it is, make your own experience.
Yeah, because even I've seen a lot of people, like I know online, the likes of Katya Mia, Olivia Spuds, all those people who are like on radio, who are doing the Sky TV little mini mics, who are doing all that. They literally started off being like, I'm going to have a mini mic and I'm going to go around the street and I'm going to do it. Or else, you know, you're going to write something in your bio where, shout out to anyone listening, I would like to be a radio presenter. I think I'd be a great radio presenter. Or even like presenting, like I'd love to do something like that. But it is doing this first and seeing where it goes and putting yourself forward, like you, like, you know, being a career coach, you love it, you're passionate, but now you're really showcasing like well-being as well within the workplace and well-being within your own personal space.
It's just naturally evolved, and that's what I mean. That's when I was saying to you, do you have enough trust now that doors will open?
Yeah,
like my page started off, you know, just I actually started off doing this by simply I broke my toe back in 2018, just before Christmas. And don't come at me like saying, Angela, you just broke your toe. Breaking your toe it's nearly as limiting as breaking your leg, because like you're on
Angela,
crutches.
now, all right.
No, bear with me here. You're still on crutches. It's really sore. Like you're just as limited.
Well, in fairness, when you don't have your big toe, it's like your thumb. That's like the center, kind of like gravity,
This
like,
is
isn't it?
Now, okay, I don't want to get a load of hate of this, so maybe not. Probably not as painful. Depends on which toe, though, apparently. But it was just a nightmare, and like loads of my plans. It just wasn't worth it. In the middle of winter, trying to get around Dublin City in crutches, it's just not worth it. So I was like, I'm just going into hibernation mode. And I had kind of branched into a whole new area here now chatting, but I had been studying. Had I studied? Oh, I had finished the qualification at that point. My background is HR and recruitment, and I kind of ended up being the person, you know, for my friends. If you're applying for a job, they'd come to me and be like, oh, can you just have a look at my CV, or can you help me with interviews or whatever? And I had studied the career coaching qualification in the University of Warwick, and it just was sitting there, and I was like, I really need to like put this to use. So long story short, anyways, I ended up just setting up an Instagram page being like, look, I'll share the tips I have to help people just with their career. Naturally turned into a business. But like we were talking about, it's so funny because the most random of doors just started opening. And like I was going on, that was kind of around my late 20s. And I was going on this big kind of wellness journey myself. My life was changing. I was kind of dipping my toe into, I was developing wellness tools and coping mechanisms, to be honest, to deal with stress, because I was in a really, really stressful career. And it just evolved. And then because I was stepping into this new chapter of my life, embracing wellness, that came onto the page. Then different media opportunities, you know, I'd be going on TV or radio, speaking gigs, doing a bit of brand work. It just evolved. Yeah. So like the doors, I truly, truly believe that if you take a chance on yourself, and like we were talking about earlier, that 63% of people who were disengaged, or the whatever other percent, I think it was 2/3 of people who were kind of staying stuck, settling but stuck. If you can, and I know it's so hard, but we've both done it. Like if you can just obviously logically get your ducks in a row, make sure, you know, financially you're okay. But if you can just dip your toe in the water and like take
not
a chance
the broken
on yourself,
toe now,
not the broken toe or the broken leg, but like you'd be surprised the doors that just fling open.
Yeah,
like the universe has your back.
I know. And this is the thing, we were talking even off air. So we met up last week and we had a coffee, and I was talking about even like, you know, going back to work, you know, like 3 days, etc., doing up my CV again. And because I totally do it. Like I love mixing with people as well. And you were like, would you not do social media? I was like, I don't want to be on my phone all the time. I think I'm that person. I do like social media, but I'm not that invested to do it like, you know, 20 hours a week.
And it's good that you know that, because this is
I'm very like clear in a way.
And that's a really good point you make actually, Emma, because I talk about this a lot. Like if I have a client sitting in front of me, often the skills we have are the skills we have and the experience we have and what we're good at will open doors. It does not mean that you have to go through those doors. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because you're good at something, just because you're skilled at something, maybe it doesn't suit your lifestyle, or maybe it just doesn't set your soul on fire.
Yeah.
So what you were doing there was you were aware enough to be like, yes, I have the skill set, but that's not the route I want to go down. And I wish more people would realize that
Yeah.
they don't have to. Do you know what? We all, I think a lot of the conversations I have with people are, oh, I just fell into this, or, you know, my manager spotted that I was good at this, so now I'm doing this different job. And then I was, you know, this other opportunity opened up for me. And that's all good and well.
Yeah.
If you're happy and if the opportunities that are coming your way are fitting for where you want to go, fitting for your life, you know, keeping you passionate. But you can also take the reins and grab a hold of that steering wheel and, you know, put on the indicator and turn left to different direction, you know, or like slam the brakes, you know, careful driving, everyone.
Yeah.
But you can take a hold of the steering wheel of life and career yourself as well. And I think we forget that.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like it is that awareness as well of you can either revolve or evolve.
Yes. If I,
Like
Emma,
you're
if
not
I
like...
if I hear another person, like often I will, and I can be quite direct, and I think that's the type of coach I am. I'm direct.
No, you need to be
I'm
like...
confronting. I'm very compassionate, but I think, you know, you're not paying me to just, you know,
Buddy up.
Exactly. And I'll have someone in front of me and they might be like, you know, I've got 15 years experience in blah, blah, blah. And I'll look at their CV and I'll quickly see, you don't have 15 years experience. You have 1 year of experience repeated for 15 years.
Ooh.
Do you know what
It's
I
like
mean?
you want to shake someone and
this
be
is
like,
it, as in
tell
you're
me how
not-
you're adding value to yourself every year.
Yeah, well, are you working on your career or are you working on your to-do list?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. And what, like, even I also have down here as well, which can be hard because there is a point where we have all these careers and these passions that we want to turn into fruition. And you probably get like DMs. I get DMs about how do I start this? How do I do that? Which is amazing. There's so many sideline gigs now you can do. But then there's going to come a point where whether you have a family, you have a mortgage, you're like, how do I kind of crack on and reframe
Yeah.
in order to be secure and stable within my job for the moment?
Yeah. I think we have career chapters. I feel like we're no longer in a world where we have to have one job for life. We now have career chapters, just like we have career life chapters. The thing is, right, as you navigate through different life chapters, your career chapter needs to move along with that. And where people often find themselves is they've stepped into a new life chapter, but they still have one foot back in that old career chapter. Their career is not evolving to actually work for the current life chapter they're in. So say for yourself, you've talked about, you know, wanting to settle down and kind of, you know, get your mortgage. You spoke about that earlier. So your career chapter, like you said now, is kind of evolving and you're thinking, right, how do I facilitate that for my life? So I think if we look at our career chapter to always see how it's feeding into our life, how it's supporting our life, and knowing that it's absolutely okay to change that. Like I had someone say to me recently, you know, they stayed in a job for 6 months and they moved into another job and they're maybe in that job now for 2 years or so, but they're afraid, they're paralyzed with fear in terms of making that next decision because they're like, I can't make the wrong decision because I can't leave another job now in 6 months.
Yeah, you
Like,
can.
of course you can. We've moved past that. Yes, you would probably come across a recruiter who might ask about that, but you can just tell your story.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think even like I'm at a point now where I love what I do. And even I do want to put up more like social media. There's certain barriers I'm breaking down my own self as well, like to helping people, beliefs, everything like that as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'm so open to the power of possibilities. Like, oh, would you do this? Would you do that? And in my head, if I don't like it, I don't have to put up with it.
100%.
It's like a relationship. You do not have to stay. You know, you don't have to be friends with someone. Like there's no one literally holding your ransom and saying, listen, you have to stay here. I think we have a choice to do that. So you can try it for 3 months, you know, give it 3 months or even 6 and say, do you know what? I tried it.
And there's no wasted opportunity. I always say it's balancing that. Like, I would hate to get to the end of, I genuinely mean this, I would hate, and I think about this a lot, Emma. Like I hold myself accountable. So I'm like, am I going to, like, I would say at least once a week, I look at my life and I'm like, is there anything I'm not doing? Is there anything I'm not leaning into that, you know, if my life were to end tomorrow, that
I always think about that.
Yeah.
Always.
Because life, I think I saw a quote or someone real put something up the other day to say your life will end on a random day where, you know, you haven't finished
Your story.
living the plan. You haven't finished the story. You're not going to get a warning. Most people don't get a warning.
Yeah.
And I just think it's that balance of like living your life to the full, trying and being okay with failing, falling forward. But also that balance of like obviously having your ducks in a row. So, for example, if you're going to leave a job, I always say to people like, don't just leap and then move your career anxiety into financial anxiety.
Yeah.
Have your, like, do the numbers, have your plan in place that, okay, I'm going to be okay financially for 3 months, for example. But don't let the fear hold you back from trying something. So it's just, it's and for everyone, it'll be different. Some people will have a huge tolerance for risk and they'll be able to just leap, and fair play to them. I'm probably more balanced person where I need to have my ducks in a row, but also I can't be restricted. I need to know that if there's something my soul wants to do, I have to back myself and I have to do it. I have to just go for it as safely as possible. So I suppose what we're getting around here is like, it's okay to have several career chapters, just like we have several life chapters. Our career chapters have to align with the life chapter we're in. And we have to be looking at both. We have to look at our life and think, where am I right now in my life? What do I need? Looking at our career in parallel and saying, is that right? Like, is my career feeding the life I'm living right now? And if it's not, what needs to change? How can I back myself financially and practically? But how can I support myself on the other side of it, in terms of like making that leap and building myself up with self-belief and with courage to actually make the move.
Totally. Because talking about life chapters as well, then, I think we've both been on very similar life chapters when it comes even into like career. We were only talking about off air as well, how, your career is a chapter, but it does translate over into other areas of your life when it comes from fear. And I would have had that with like past relationships, etc., but even my own life chapters as well, because you've been through a bit over the last few years and you've spoke openly about it online as well.
Yeah, which is unusual for me now.
But you're being, because I say vulnerability is someone's superpower, but I can even notice you, even the last year through even knowing you as well, you're putting the toe and the other little toe and you're testing it out and you're feeling it, the waters.
I am, for sure. And like the first time I spoke about, it's funny. So I was on Georgie's Good Glow podcast the 1st of September 2024, which is supposed to be my wedding day. And that was the first time that I shared a little glimpse of me, I suppose, online. And look, I'll always be a private person. I'll never get into, the details and stuff. But I feel for me, authenticity has always been really important. And I think if we think of it in our professional life, we have our professional persona and we have our personal persona. And I suppose I'm on a journey of blending and marrying the two of them more and more together. And that's daunting. And it's not like when I say the two personas, they're not wildly different at all. Like, me, in real life. And I don't think I'm hugely different, than online. I think what people probably say when they meet me in real person, it's like, they're like, Jesus, your personality. I don't think they realise the personality I have, I suppose, and the different kind of like, I don't know,
energies and what you put out.
My full energy. Yeah. But yeah, I've been dipping my toe in, and I think the first time I spoke about, I suppose, what I had been going through offline on Georgie's podcast, I had a huge, I'm not going to lie, the vulnerability hangover I had after that. I just don't think I was expecting it. I think I was so... Do you know what?
Do you want to give the context of why?
Yeah, so the context, because I'm sure there'll be lots of people listening in who won't have been familiar with me. So I was engaged very much on a chapter. My life was kind of built out, I suppose. I was engaged. I bought a house with my best friend, my partner, the person I thought was my soulmate, and was really settled in life, was very much comfortable in the identity and the life chapter I was in. And yeah, the universe had different plans and literally like grabbed me out of that chapter and plunked me into a new chapter. And over the last 3 years, I suppose I have been rebuilding my life. This all happened at 34. I'm nearly 38 now. So it's actually mad to think it's been 3 years, but it's been 3 years of me I suppose rebuilding my life, you know, in your mid 30s.
It's crazy because all that happened to me at 34.
Was it 34 as well? That's wild.
We have a lot of similar things,
my
like
gosh.
a lot of similar
That is
things.
wild. And I don't know, but for you,
34. It's like a hex. I think my sister was 34 as well.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Did you find I found my 35th birthday really hard?
Oh, I was really upset because it was like you're grieving all the chapters that should have been and you're grieving all the chapters that were, but then you knew you were coming into something new, but you couldn't see it. You were just feeling everything and you didn't know what you were feeling because I'd never felt like that before.
Yeah.
Because you'd premeditated everything. Sure, what have I got to worry about? You know what I mean? This is grand.
Oh, you're literally speaking from my soul.
Yeah.
Like and I think when the universe steps in and takes control of a situation, it's wild because we spend so much, we've literally just spoke about in our career how we will stay stuck in something, we'll stay in the discomfort, you know, to prevent jumping into the unknown. And when the universe takes control, then I think it's a totally unique situation because you don't have time to prepare and do things to navigate life in the way you usually would.
There's no prep because I was the biggest planner, right? And I think I said this before on the podcast. Like I was the biggest type A. Like I mean, tick the house, tick, plan the baby, tick, you know, like onto the next, tick the holiday, tick, 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 tick. And I was like, sure, nothing, you know, this is the plan. It's going to plan. And then when everything is like Band-Aid, you know, ripped off you, because obviously this makes up who I am. Like I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for all this. And I'm so grateful, honestly. Like I've no regrets.
Yeah.
And this is why it comes up in conversations because we're so similar in what we've been through. You just literally, it's like you're laid bare. You're like, I'm after being thrown out naked in the street and I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? Like what? Everyone's staring at me. What do I do?
I totally relate to that. And you know, like it's funny, like what you were saying there about the kind of what we started off with around like me dipping my toe in and the vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's funny because I only said to someone the other day, like, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like it was hell. Like it was the darkest of days that I've had. It was my worst chapter to date in life, but it was also the most important chapter. And it's so, it feels so surreal to say this, Emma, but I wouldn't give it back. And I mean, like, it feels so weird to say that because, and I'm sure my friends and family will be listening and being like, Jesus, how would you not give that back? But I wouldn't because I love who I am today.
I say this all the time. I would never give it back 100%. I'm like, no, would I do it again?
Oh,
I don't know, but I think I'm the person, you're the person you are if you didn't.
100%. And I don't say that in a boastful way at all. But the work I have done, I know is not easy it's just not easy to do the work that we've had to do and to kind of hold up a mirror and look at who you are now in this new life of yours and to face the fears and I think the self-development journey I went on in order to rebuild my life and to build the strength. You know, people used to say to me before in my old life, people used to say to me how strong I was. And I never believed them, Emma, because the truth is I didn't see myself as a strong person. And maybe I was displaying, a strong character, but I certainly didn't feel it. Whereas, when you're on your own in this world at 34, I'm from Galway. I have no family up here in Dublin. And I have amazing friends that I've built over the last 17 years, I think, in Dublin. But at the end of the day, I don't have family. So when you're on your own, your teammate, your partner is gone, their family, are gone. You have to dig deep and find the strength that I probably didn't have to lean into before because I was probably being carried somewhat.
Yeah.
So I'm so I cannot tell you how bloody proud I am to have dug deep and done the work to build the strength I have today. But what comes with that, and the reason I wouldn't give it back is because what comes with that is this incredible resilience and a deep knowing that I know there's really hard days ahead of me in terms of, I'm so close to my family. You know how close I am to my parents. I adore them. They're my favorite people in the world. And I know that there'll be a day that I will lose them. And it's funny, because that is and will always be my worst fear. And it's a fear that you know will happen. But because of what I've went through, it's weird. I just know that things like that and other hardships that will come my way, I know that I'll be okay now. Whereas, you know, at 34, I don't know if I would have been okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I say that all the time. It's even in like relationships, not friendships, with everything, with life things. I do think that heartbreak really opens you up to what the true meaning of like healing is.
Yes.
But like a sense of ownership for who the fuck you are, like who Angela is, like, you know, you're able to stand in your power. Because I always say there's 2 relationships that everyone should have: one with your partner and the one you have with yourself. And I do think that is changing, especially over time. I know even from my mum and dad, you know, they're separated, you know, finding your own as well when you separate and find a new partner. Having your runaway money, as my nana and my mom would say. But like, it's all those things of independency as a woman as well, and being content with who you are, and that partner and that person is adding value to your life. They're not taking away and subtracting, and you don't need that. You know, obviously, like even now, my boyfriend at the moment, he definitely adds value to my life, but he doesn't make me whole. Like,
I totally get where you're going.
I'm not like, I am complete. Like, sorry. Like, I'm so sorry if you're listening. But I love you to pieces. But I'm like, and I say this all the time, it's like, I'm so content and I've been through so much, even with death, with like, you know, friendships, relationships like yourself. But you're like, I know I'll be all right. Like
100%. And I think 2 things there. One, a really tough breakup, which it's not even a breakup, it's a whole life change. Like, it's a separation at that age, right? But I think what it does is, one, it makes you more comfortable with loss. I would have been the type in the past that would have held on to dead friendships, one-sided friendships, whereas I've had friendship endings since.
Same.
I've walked away from friendships. I've had friendships naturally end, and it's so strange. I'm totally okay with that. I'm at peace with it. But I've also had, and I really do believe that for something new to come into your life, something old has to leave. And when I tell you, Emma, the most beautiful friendships have come into my life since, like, it's incredible. But the other thing I want to say was the point you've made there is, I think had I not had kind of just surrendered to the life chapter that I was fired into, and dug deep and built the strength and took the time to get to know me and I suppose become the person I am today, I think I would have quickly maybe entered into another relationship. And when you think of it, like, you know, I'm single 3 years now. I've dated, and it's been so interesting because, like, the last time I was single was, you know, I got into that last relationship in 2016. I think I was 27 or 28. Totally different person, but the people that I have kind of found myself dating this time are totally different to, like, you know, even my ex, for example. You know, if someone, they're just totally different. Like, and I think what I have learned is there's definitely a couple of people that I have dated over the last 3 years that I could have easily settled down with, Emma. But they weren't right, and they weren't, like your point there, they weren't going to
add
huge value to my life, and it just didn't, not even alone that, but it just didn't feel 100% right. And I think an old version of Angela in her 20s would have been like, shit, this is enough. It's fine. Whereas it's so interesting because I'm always looking, as I'm navigating my life now, I kind of compare and look at, like, how Angela would have dealt with situations in her 20s versus now. And I think what we have that's similar is that we've both been holding out for the right one. You know, you held out for yours. There's no way that I have gone through what I've gone through to settle.
Oh,
no
girl,
way.
I was like, I'm not going to be a spinster. Do you know, I do not give a fuck. I'd rather be on my own. And I say this all the time. Do you know?
Well,
like,
when your life is full, you're fine
I'd be throwing threats. I'm like, I'm not afraid to be alone.
Yeah. Well, I always,
you know?
I had a friend years ago in my 20s that used to say, you're better off to be left on the shelf. Left on the shelf. You're better off to be, you know,
Left
positioned
left alone.
on the shelf
Lady
and
of
in the wrong
leisure.
cupboard. And like, yeah, no, I feel, of course I want to, like, I of course want love. Love is the best thing in the world. And I was only, you know, when I was driving here, actually, I was like, I can't wait to be in love again. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
beautiful.
like your poem.
But it's my poem, Standing in Love.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous feeling. But I know that when that happens and when he comes along, I actually get giddy sometimes because I'm like, the version of like the partner I'm going to be, having done all of the work I've done, having experienced all of the life
Yeah.
I've experienced over the last while, I'm just like, oh, like I'm excited for the relationship that I will enter.
Yeah.
But I'm fine waiting because I want to wait for
See,
the
I
right
was
one.
like that. But even back to what you were saying as well, and I've mentioned this before, was like, I just went from relationship to relationship.
Yeah.
So like I was with my first boyfriend, I was like 17 going on 18. It was like 8 months. A few months later, got my first long-term boyfriend. That was 5 years. Then I was 23. I was single for like 3 months, new boyfriend, 8 months.
Wow.
Single for 5-6
My
months,
gosh.
another boyfriend for 9 years. Single for 6 months.
Jeez, Emma.
Right? And then another boyfriend for 3 years. So from the age of 17 to I think 37, 20 years of my life, I was in relationships. I sound like a fucking serial relationship, but it wasn't, it just happened.
Yeah.
And I was unaware of the settling aspect of like, it's nice. Like it's grand. We get along, you know, I fancy him. It's all the vibe. But my gut was telling me something different. The whispers. And I kept ignoring those whispers. Probably, you know, a few times.
Yeah.
And then the universe, you know, decided to work its magic for me. And then I was like, God, I'm going to be single for, I don't care. Like, and I was at that point where before I met my current boyfriend.
You'll be listening at home, be like, your current boyfriend.
But I just was like, I just don't give a fuck. Like, I'm cool. The first year was hell. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Hell. The second, but I'd already done all the healing work.
Yeah.
But I was only properly going through that. And then, then he just popped along. I was like,
that's interesting because I'm at that stage now where, like, I got off the apps. We were chatting about this. Like, I got
you were,
off.
how many months were you off them now?
Well, it's so
You had
interesting.
a dating detox.
I did. So I got off
Which I
them
love.
last summer, and I was kind of saying, I remember saying to myself, I'll do it until September.
Yeah.
And I'll just see what happens. And then I just had so a bit of context. I am someone who, I don't really sit around and wait for things to happen. If I want something, I have to do something about it,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like I was putting in the effort in terms of, you know, I was healing and I was doing all of the work. And then when it got to a certain stage, I was like, right, I'll put in the effort and I will date now.
Yeah.
But so the reason I'm sharing that is for me to get off the apps and stop dating entirely, it was actually hard because at the end of the day, I want love, but I want the right person. But I still want love. So actually sitting on my hand and being like, right, I'm going to literally stop dating, get off the apps was quite tricky. But it's interesting, as soon as I stopped, the peace and also the other part is like, I think I didn't realise until I stopped putting effort into the apps was the amount of time and energy it was draining because I am a believer
It's
that
a part-time job.
You can't half-arse it. Like if I personally believe
You
if
have to
you're
put
going
a
to
shift in.
do it properly because otherwise, you know, you get what you put in. But the amount of time I had for other areas of my life, I started writing poetry. I think so many other doors opened in terms of like my career. More friendships came in. You came into my life, girl. And I just feel like I got to know myself a little bit more.
You had more time and energy to put into other aspects of your life.
This it, and I settled. My energy definitely changed. Like I settled to the point where I can't. It's very hard to explain it, but like I've started dating again now. So you asked how long I spent off it. I'd say about 7 months.
Yeah, but
a good 7 months.
Yeah, but I remember from when we first met, you know, like I met you say once or twice or whatever, 3 times. And then I think it was towards the end near Christmas and you were in your little date and detox.
Was I a
and
different energy?
you were like a disco ball. You were like, I'm just happy. Like I just love myself. And I was like, you are oozing self-love because there's no outsource of validation. There's no outsource of energy draining. You were pouring that energy back into yourself going, right, how do I want to lift myself up? Do I want a new a friendship? Do I want something new? Do I need a solo getaway? Do I need a bit of time to myself? Do I need to join Pilates? You were doing it for yourself. You weren't looking for external validation. You were filling your own cup up.
That's it. And I'm the type of person, I'm quite a direct person. I don't play games. And I think even though you can go out into the dating world with that direct energy. And I have to say, I had a really pleasant dating experience. Like I'm friends with, I might be meeting, you know, one of the guys I went to date with as a friend after this. Like I've met like nice friends actually during it. And I've of course met one or two idiots, but like mainly good people. But I think the piece that when you say about energy draining, I very much go into the dating scene with no games. I'm straightforward. You know, I'm like, if I like you, I'll tell you I like you.
I was like that towards the end.
Oh, like, but it doesn't mean you have to, just because you're going out and putting that energy and taking that approach, it doesn't mean you're going to receive that all of the time. So of course there were people that I met that, you know, had you guessing. And I think when I stripped away the dating out of my life, that kind of guesswork and that the energy draining piece was stripped away. And I think that's where the glow was coming from, because I was like,
do you know what it was? It was the anxiety of it all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The overthinking part. Yeah.
Do they like me? Do they not like me? I don't even have that thought today. I just have to think about what I'm doing later on, what I'm going to cook something nice to myself, how am I going to treat myself the weekend. Do you know what I mean? It's wild when you pour into yourself.
But the gap now that because a few people have actually, I vaguely spoke about it on my Instagram, not too much, but a few people have asked like what it has done, and the dating detox or getting off the apps, whatever you want to call it, quitting dating. Now that I've started it and I've literally just dipped my toe back in, I cannot tell you the difference. As in, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
I care less, which I think usually in life I would say is not a good thing, but I think in this instance it is a good thing. I'm putting way less energy into it. I'm in my receiving era. We spoke about this before.
Feminine, yeah.
I've made a few changes to my profile.
She's actually on OnlyFans now.
But I've made a few changes to my profile where I am showing up as 100% me. Yeah. And through that, it's filtering. So I'm very
people can sense energy even from 100%, a profile.
But I want people to deselect, Gemma, because let's face it, I would rather meet you for a coffee and dedicate the 2 hours in my week to you than meet someone who's going to be the wrong fit. So I think if you put your true self out there, and own it. Like, own what you want. Own who you want to attract. Yeah. Then you're not wasting your time or their time.
And you know what? I felt towards kind of like before I met my boyfriend, right? I remember there was a phase. What I used to do when I had the dating apps, I used to like, Hinge is like CV. I can't cope with that now. But Bumble even, for instance, I put up, like, I wouldn't give too Glamazonia now, like, you know, in a ball gown, all like, because we know, like, men likes kind of easygoing every day to day. But this is the thing. I done like everyday kind of vibes, then maybe a little cheeky if you're out for a drink, a hiking one with no makeup, literally in my swimsuit, but not all posy, like I'm just sitting down kind of like that on the beach, just nothing too revealing. Do you get me? Yeah. As in, like, here's my face, like, do you know what I mean?
You have the most our first date, our first friend date, you showed up with you have the most beautiful no makeup face.
Thanks, except for the skin pigmentation. Now we live with that, like
fresh.
Yeah, thank you. But even that as well, I was like, I'm over trying to dress up and add makeup and glam just for, like, I do it for myself. I dress for myself, but not for a man to validate
but
me.
You're also showing, you're giving a sense of like, this is who I am.
Yeah,
this is 100%. Who you're going to meet.
And even like, I'm all colour, as we know. I love all my colours. And the amount of men that were like, your profile stands out so much, your energy, the colours on your page, you just ooze like energy and zest. And I was like, that's mad the way people can get that off your pictures. Yeah. Do you know that way? And I was like, I am that person though.
You like, your brand is colourful and cosy.
Colourful, cozy.
That is colourful and cozy.
Yeah, colourful and cozy. Yeah, I do love a bit of coziness. But it is, because you were even saying, you said to me, I'm making you wear more colour.
Yeah, you are. And knits as well. Like, we met,
last week? We have our coat. We did.
Last week we had our
We went to Portmarnock and we had
I wore pink for you and something cozy. Can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, you had something cozy on.
Did I wear pink?
No, you had chocolate brown, babes.
Oh, did I have brown?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the other day. Oh,
You were
sorry.
wearing pink the other day,
I
thinking
was
of
going
me.
on a date. I
Yeah.
forgot I was going on my first coffee date in ages. And I voice noted you.
Yeah,
and I
you
was
did.
like, I'm wearing a pink cardi.
Yeah, you're like, I feel like you. Right, I'm like going a bit more neutral. I'm going a bit more brown and creams.
Influencing
Do you
each
know?
other.
Yeah. But even like to see even your style of content as well. If you don't follow Angela, follow her on Instagram. You can totally see, like, I see a bit of myself in you from where you are, because like
Do you?
I'm 6 years now from when the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
And what you said,
Double my time. Okay.
double
interesting.
time, babes. I'm coming out of the joy now. And serving time.
I'm halfway through my
I
sentence.
could have served time. Dun, dun, dun. But in saying that, right, I think I'm at a phase, exactly what you said at the start of the pod, where I'm starting to marry the authenticity, which was my previous episode, by the way.
Okay.
I'm all about is who Emma is now, who she was, but in a career, I'm marrying them
Yes.
together. So
Yeah.
you can really see probably on the likes, you know, like my podcast, my work, like even I can be so calm and I will talk to you like this in my meditation and it'll be soft and flow. But then instead of constantly following the plan,
Yeah.
give your personality. So I'll be like, you know, downward facing dog, you know, like raise your leg, get that booty up like Beyonce, bring it, you know what I mean? Like you need a bit of personality where I thought I couldn't do that.
And you encourage me because you feel like I'm kind of blending that now.
No, you're coming up now.
I
Like
think I think naturally it's maybe since
we're
I did the Good
complimenting each
Glow.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think doing the Good Glow was dipping my toe in.
Yeah.
But the more I chat with you then, like even since I met you last
The content queen is going up.
Well, last week was it? It was 2 weekends ago. We met for our
Yeah.
the sunny coffee in Portmarnock, yeah. And like I was on a hen weekend, they're just gone, and
Yeah.
like I don't think I would share that would have shared that little glimpse had we not have had our little chat.
I
So
love
you're inspiring
that.
me.
Thanks, but I
To
think that,
show a little bit more of me, I suppose.
yeah, but even that as well, because you got really good response. Like even from just showing, like go on your little solo weekend
My solo
away.
weekend,
yeah. When you booked off and you were going skiing and all, like, do you know
And
what I
so
mean?
many people, oh my gosh, like over the weekend. So for those listening, I checked myself into a hotel down in Kerry for Friday night and Saturday night. I had a hen on the Sunday night, and like Dingle is a 4.5 hour drive, so there was
Yeah, it's
no way
long.
I was just driving down for the one night and back up. And it was the Easter bank holiday weekend as well, and I think there's such a I don't know, is there a bit of like an expectation that you will spend it with friends or spend it with
There is
family?
there is 100%, because even like every single Easter I spend it with my family, with my niece,
Yeah.
my nephew. We have Easter dinner, the whole shebang. Did we do that this year? No. I went out to like an R&B brunch thing. My sister went out. Claudine was at home, you know, with the kids. Like, and I half me was a bit like, oh, it's a tradition, but then it's like
new tradition.
new tradition. You can do what you want. Like, you
Yeah.
don't constantly have to revisit the same.
And sometimes it's about like, I'm very much into like living with the seasons, one thing, but number two, kind of doing what listening to my body and listening to my
Yeah.
soul and doing what it needs in that moment. And like in that moment, say at the weekend, it's so interesting because I definitely needed my little solo time. I needed creativity time, and I was able to, you know, create like different content. When you're somewhere different, I think you lean into
100%.
a different side of you. But then, and so I had my little solo time on Friday and Saturday, got creative with content and stuff. And then on Sunday, when I got to the hen, I was so filled up. Like my batteries were fully recharged that I was able to let the hair down and just like lean into the fun and meet new people. And we had the massive sing song. And I just think, isn't that the perfect example of like, we don't just have to be one, we don't just have to lean into one part of our personality, of our persona, of who we are. We can be many things. Like I'm your wellness girly, I'm your career focus
We're all
girly.
of the above.
We're all of the above. Do you know what I mean? You
That's
can
what
be
I said at the start of this podcast. I was like, we're not all of it, because I'm at a point now where I'm not just Emma the content creator, Emma the wellness coach. I'm like, it's like you're all versions of yourself.
Yeah.
You're just like, you know, blending it all together. You are all the above.
Yes. And they can blend, but they can also contrast.
Yeah.
And we don't have to, and that goes back to career as well. Like you don't have to, you know, you don't have to just have one career for one, you know, for the rest of your life. You can also change. Like if you've been kind of reserved or maybe lacking confidence in your career, and you're like, do you know what? I want to step into this next career chapter and own it, and I want to walk into my job and put my hand up and ask the questions in the meeting, and present in a different tone of voice. You can do that. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah, because I think I would have gained confidence from my previous jobs.
Yeah.
And that would have translated then obviously over into my personal life. Even say like with men or whatever like that, men would have had to kind of like, not reported, but you know what I mean? I would have had to summarize, reporting to, but you know what I mean? As in we work together as a team. And that was a big confidence builder for me as well. Like, cause you're like, oh my God, I would have had to talk to like the CEO. And I'm like, you just have to get on with it, know how to communicate, be professional, be stern, like don't bring emotions into it, all these sort of things. But then that really translated over, I'd say, into my dating life as well.
Did you get really assertive then?
Yeah. So I'd say before settling down, well, not settling down, we're still only getting to know each other when you think about it. But I think it was more just out straight. I remember being on dates and like, no joke, like this guy I went on 2 dates with and got along, grand, whatever. And he was like, sure, that's not how we communicate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what way do you want to be I've been on 2 dates, by the way. Do you want to communicate like this? And, will I call you after work? And I was like, hold the phone here. I was like, I've been on 2 dates. Do you think this is a relationship? And he's like, no. I was like, it's not like that. I was like, we're just getting to know each other and all. And then he seemed really full on. And then I texted him the next day and I was like, listen, it was really nice getting to know you, but I think we're on different paths at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He was just way too full on.
Previously, maybe you would have just went with
I would have went with it. Exactly. But I was just being nice because at the same time, I think when I started dating as well, like I was being clear, like, do you know what I mean? Same as yourself, being clear. But then towards the end, I was like, I pulled the brakes a bit on date and I was like, I'm not wasting my time and energy here on this. I'd rather, go on solo breaks. I'd rather be with my friends. I'd rather sit at home and watch Netflix and chill, babes.
The clear, but I think by being clear and being yourself and standing behind that, no matter how good looking they are, no matter, no matter like just standing true to that, then you won't waste your own time. Whereas if you're presenting a version of yourself that is not true, you are going to waste your time because the people that version is going to attract is not going to be aligned with where you're headed and what you need. So I'm like you, Emma, like I'll be like, sometimes when I'm telling my friend like the questions I ask or like the conversations I'm having, they're like, Jesus, what are you writing down? Or like one thing I will say is, for me, I need a really good communicator because I feel
story of my life, 100%.
But if you can have, I truly believe that no matter what shit is thrown your way in life, is thrown, into your relationship, because at the end of the day, like from your 30s, 40s onwards, like you're navigating real life together. And I truly believe that if you can sit down with that person and have a genuine, true, honest conversation where you're not holding back, you have that kind of partnership energy, you will get through anything in life. I agree. So therefore, you can imagine when I'm meeting people on dates, I'm like, how are they communicating? Like, are they having honest conversations with me? When I ask them a confronting question, are they well able to answer it? Yeah. And if they're not for me. And like a couple of my friends would have been like, Angela, lads are not good communicators. Like, if you're holding out for a good communicator, then you have to be okay with being single. And
no, I disagree. No. I disagree because in fairness, they do like, because come here, I've talked about it before. I was in a situationship, whatever, but I'll put my hand up. Hello, you have to be accountable as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're going to settle for it. But the thing is, all these things taught me things. Dating is like collecting data. We're collecting data and we're literally seeing who that person is. Yeah. But who we are, how we're showing up. Yeah. Do we need to take...
It's like a mirror. It actually teaches you so much.
It taught me so much about myself. And there's things that I'm like, oh, fuck, I need to take accountability for that.
Short, won't
it? 100%. Yeah, 100%. And then even like, do you know what dating taught me as well? It taught me even about past relationships going, do you know what? I was actually a bit of an asshole there now. Yeah. Or do you know what? I could have communicated better that time. Yeah. I'm a lot more aware. But... talking about that as well, about dating yourself. Then we talked about career. What is next for you in this next chapter of your life?
Who knows, girl? In life or career or a bit about
both,
in general?
A bit of everything.
I think I'm at a really interesting point right now where like I can feel my life changing. Yeah. Like I'm in the midst of the change. I can feel it changing. I can feel it changing. I do not know where it's leading, Emma. And that like when you talked earlier about being a planner, like I am like your type A person. Like I'm a planner.
Yeah.
I plan everything to a T. And I think what the last few years has made me do, because I've no choice, was to just live life a little bit more spontaneously, while also, you know, like navigating it to, you know, I think it's that mixture of like taking control of your life, which I'm a huge advocate for, but not holding the steering wheel too tightly that you don't let life happen for you. So what's ahead of me? I don't know, but I feel this excitement. I feel like if I look at like what I'm kind of focusing on right now, or what I'm embracing, is I'm definitely embracing the marrying of kind of my professional persona and my personal persona, which again are not wildly different, but I think I'm leaning into kind of blending the two a bit more and kind of showing a little bit more of myself. And that's a big step for me because I am a private person. I think I'm still massively in the rebuilding of my life. There's so much that I've already rebuilt, but I am in the messy middle. I'm okay with it being the messy middle, and it's controlled. Yeah. But I'm definitely, you know, I'm in that stage of life where I've rebuilt it. Do you know what I will say? I had this conversation with a friend the other day. I've rebuilt my life from the ground up, from the rubble. And it's stable now.
Yeah. You have a foundation.
There's a good solid foundation, but I'm happy for things to change. And I think, do you know what it is? I think I didn't want to, I don't know if this will make sense, Emma, but because so much of my life changed so quickly and so drastically, I think I tried to keep some of it stable while rebuilding. And I think I just hit a point where I'm actually okay now from my life to make the next change. Yeah. I don't know exactly.
I know what it is. So like Brene Brown gives a quote. No, Brene Brown gives a quote, I think, on this. And I read so many self-development, self-help books when I was going through all that. And it is, you have the reckoning, which is like the shit hitting the fan. Yeah. Then you have the rumble. And you're in the rumble, you're uncomfortable, you're in, you're out, and then you have the rise.
You're just coping, You
have the rise. So it takes time for the rise to really happen. And like I'd say, I've only been rising the last 2 years, that's being honest. Where now I honestly just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I do care, but I don't care at the same time. Totally, but I'm learning to kind of let go of judgment, love yourself, marry the authenticity, because I'm coming into my 40s as well.
Because there's a lot of talk of marrying.
No, marrying myself, girls. But you know what I mean? Like marrying the two together, like, you know. But and then if you were to give advice to your younger self, what would it be? Young Angela.
Oh, I found a photo of myself recently. Did you? And I was like, I actually found it so emotional. Would it be really weird if I had that as my screensaver?
No, not at all.
I know that sounds really weird, but I just thought I would love to make decisions over the next while with her in mind.
I journal with mine.
Do you? Yeah. You do that?
Yeah, I have a picture, and when I'm journaling as well, like she's my bookmark. Oh, so I literally put her, and you want to see, like I think.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's the one where I am. What is it? Because I'm thinking of another photo where I'm sitting down like a little diva with glasses on, but then it's like I have a school photo. I'm sitting on the doorstep. Like,
oh, that's so gorgeous. Yeah. I might do that actually.
It's really nice beside your bed.
What I tell my younger self? There's a few things that come to mind. I was a real fearful child. I think I've led a lot of my life through fear. Yeah. And I think I would just say to her, the first thing that comes to mind, I think I would say to her, it's okay. Like, you're going to be okay. Like, you will be okay. Secondly, I would tell her to believe in herself and that she is enough. She is enough just as she is, because I definitely think for a lot of my life, I didn't believe in myself and I didn't feel I was enough. And that's really, it's even emotional now to think of that. Yeah. It's probably something I'm still working on, still kind of teaching myself and showing myself that I am enough just as I am. And I think I would say, do you know what I would probably say to her as well? I had, I'm thinking of my mom as I say this, because she's always kind of shown this to me, but I think it's only in recent years that I really owned it, but I've always had a fire. I was a really sensitive child. I am a sensitive Sally, but I also had this like burning fire. I wonder, do you see that as my friend? Do you see the fire and the,
Oh, yes.
yeah, you do. The fire and the sensitivity. But
She can be out straight.
Yeah, I think
So can I, though. I can be like that as well. Are you hungry?
there's like a sizzle, and I think throughout my life I leaned a lot into the kind of shy, sensitive Sally in me, and I maybe didn't own the fiery Angela as much. And then I suppose through periods of my life, maybe I owned the fiery Angela a little bit too much. And I think I think now when I look at where I am right now, I've definitely blended the two.
Yeah.
And I'm owning that fire because
I
it's a
love
massive
that.
part of me. The sensitivity is
Yeah.
also a massive part of me. But I think I would look back at little Angela, because, and I think I would say to her, like, lean into that fire, babes.
Yeah, cue prodigy. I'm the fire starter. The
Can you
twisting
own
fire
that fire?
Own the fire.
And I think I didn't own the fire because I didn't feel maybe I was enough. I was always trying to blend in. Whereas, yeah, I would be like, stand out.
Yeah, why blend in when you can stand out?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Fiery
Mic
redhead.
drop. Well, I tell you, Angela Burke, it's been an absolute pleasure talking
Thank
to you,
you
because
for
we're
having
chatting as
me.
mates anyways. I feel this is definitely
Yeah.
going to be an hour and 20 minutes. I can already tell. But where can people follow you and what's going on in the world of Angela
Very
Burke career
simple.
coaching?
At angelaburke.ie.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure as always.